Question, how do you feel about open lunch at the high school? Would you cancel it?
No, I would not cancel it at this point. I understand the concerns that many people have about open lunch. That this could be a time potentially for kids to find trouble. But in talking, I've talked to a couple of teachers, and one of the things that struck me is that one of the teachers I spoke with said how ready our kids come to learn having that break. We live in a community where many kids actually can go home for lunch. And I know that can be taken advantage of, that privilege, but I don't think our children overall should have to pay the price for those who have decided to misuse or abuse that privilege.
I got my boy here tonight, and I'm telling you, it's that knee-jerk reaction. Locking the kids in at noon opens so many. We've looked at a facilities plan that says big lunchroom at the grade schools. We have no lunchroom at the high school. There's no lunchroom in the new facilities study. I mean, it's small, it's inadequate, and we have this great thing in our high school called ISH, where students have the opportunity every day to meet with every teacher. We have a great opportunity where our students can be involved in, and touche to Mr. Gustafson, he's brought some spirit to that high school. We have more clubs and more activities, and all of our high school students, many are involved in them. And this open lunch hour gives them an opportunity for freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors to all meet together during lunch hour to be involved in activities that keep them off the streets. We do have students that come back and perform well. Yeah, it'd be nice to do it, but you know, I was kind of on the wrong side of the fence on early childhood too, but I guess where I come from is we are not a poverty school district. We give our kids tutors, we give them coaches, we give them multiple chances at ACT and SAT. You know, we don't need to pay as a community to babysit these kids. If these kids are ready to take AP classes and take on the college challenge, then we need to make them responsible for a lunchtime. And what are they going to do between 4 and 5 when their parents aren't home either? I really think, I have a sentence here that I wouldn't have one that I want to go. When you talk to these young adults, you might not be so alarmed about the drug problems in the Bay. You might be amazed at the bright future we can anticipate when these brilliant and advantaged leaders are given a voice in solving problems. And I'm so proud that my son is here tonight. And he may not look like the kind of person that a parent would stand up, but I hope you saw him in the musical, and I hope you'll see him on the stage. I got a great kid. Thank you.
I really don't know enough about the pros and cons of an open lunch or a closed campus at lunch, so I don't feel I'm in a position to make a judgment. But what I would say is, and I talk to my freshman son a lot, that, believe me, kids will get drugs any time of the day, any place they want to get them. Some kids, from my son's observations, come to school high in the morning. Closed lunch isn't going to help that situation. We've got to do something better. If you take a sort of my simplified view of the drug issue, you've got the providers and you've got the users. We've got to do something about both of those situations. Unfortunately, it's law enforcement that has to deal with the providers. I mean, they've been pointed out, and nothing happens to some of these people. We, as residents, have to raise a little heck with the law enforcement people to get those folks off the street. In the schools, if the kids know who the users are, the teachers should certainly know who the users are. And they should be trained to identify them and get them out of the school.
Well, I think
maybe have a little bit of a different approach. I really don't have any idea what the history of the open lunch policy is. And I don't have a clear understanding at this point of why the lunch policy is the way it is. I understand that the way it is now is not the way it's always been. I've talked to people who went to the high school at different times in the past when, for example, certain grade levels didn't have open lunch and certain grade levels did. The administrator and me immediately thought, I wonder how they enforce that, but there was a way. I guess the way I think of this question is, why are people calling for a closed lunch policy? Clearly there's some notion that closing the campus at lunch would solve some problems. I think we need to understand what problems people believe it would solve. I think we need to as a board, consider, why is the policy the way it is? Is it the best educational policy for our students? And take it from there. There would be lots of challenges, I think, to altering the policy, but I don't think the fact that there would be challenges to altering it should prevent us from recommending that if we decide that it's in the best educational interest in our kids. So I really have a completely open mind about whether the policy should be changed. But again, what I think is important is that we have, if enough people are raising, and I certainly know from what I'm hearing that this is something that a lot of people are very concerned about. So I think that as a school board, I think we need to be open to gathering the facts and to following the facts where they lead. And I think we need to make, adopt a policy or indeed reaffirm the current policy if we feel that it's in the best educational interest of the kids.
We're going to go to the